Hello, amazing ladies, and welcome to the HerStory podcast. I'm your host, Kylie King, the founder of Australian Ladies in Business Initiative, and I am so excited to be joined today by the amazing Anna Tim from Wellness at Wilston. How are you today?
I'm fantastic, thank you. I'm really good.
So let's get started. Do you want to introduce yourself to the listeners and tell us a bit about your business?
Yeah, sure. So I've got a wellness clinic. We're pretty much a biohack sequence clinic, I guess you could call us. We're predominantly, over the years, we've transformed into predominantly gut health, muscle recovery and detox clinic. And we get really, really good results really, really quickly. So any one of our services that you come in, you will notice a massive difference in your health just from either like the 3-minute cryotherapy, if you're in the lymphatic compression room for 30 minutes, if you're in the infrared sauna, or if you're in the colonic room. What we find is our clients have a noticeable amount of difference in their health from when they come in to when they leave the clinic. So yeah, we're doing some amazing stuff in clinic and I love it. I'm here for it. I live for it. I love it.
I think it's so good to see that you're doing gut health, because I don't think many people understand the importance that gut health has with the body.
Correct. So I guess my story stemmed back 19 years ago, and I had something called dengue fever. So, you know, I was very sick with that. I was also pregnant with my now 19-year-old daughter. So obviously depleted because I was, you know, carrying a baby and had this dengue virus. And that just knocked my immune system down. We were also living in a moldy home, so my immune system was under absolute stress. So obviously after I sort of got through that, I started getting tonsillitis constantly. So every few weeks I'd get tonsillitis, and the doctors would just keep giving me antibiotics after antibiotics after antibiotics. And they were getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and nothing was working. Like I'd literally just get over it. And then a week or two later, I'd have it again. And I'm like, what is going on? So anyway, one time I just was like, I'm not taking it anymore. And like for 3 days, I laid in bed. I actually thought I was going to die. I thought, this is it. I'm dead. Like it was so bad. And then I haven't had antibiotics really since then, maybe once or twice, you know, for whatever, but nothing major. So what happened there was I obviously wiped out my whole gut bacteria, because the antibiotics wipes out everything, and not knowing to repopulate the small intestine with a diversity of microbiome and to feed that bacteria to set up a new colony. Like the doctors were just handing them out and no one was educating me on what to do. So prior to getting dengue, I thought I had an iron guts. I could eat anything. I was running the red arrow. I was fit, you know, living my best life. And then boom, you know, had this virus and it pretty much took over my life. So I never really recovered from that. And it was probably about, probably 10 years after that, I had a injury at CrossFit. I hurt my neck. And then I got into this chronic pain sort of, I guess you could call it like a loop. Obviously, I couldn't exercise again because I was having migraines every day. And then my eating went down the gurgler. So I just started eating salada biscuits with Promite basically, and again screwed up my microbiome again. Not understanding still, you know, like didn't get the lesson the first time. Obviously, you know, you get your tap in a moment, you get your knock, and that was my hit by a semi-trailer.
Yes.
Still didn't get it. But
the feather brick and truck. Yes, I get that.
You get the truck. Yeah. So I think a lot of us can relate to that, because, and you know, the thing was, I went to the doctors. I went to every doctor, every specialist. I had MRI scans, all the scans, all of this, all the bloods, everything. And they said there's nothing wrong with me. I simply wasn't going to the toilet for up to 2 weeks at a time. And I was in chronic pain. Like this migraine at the back of my head was just disgusting. Anyway, they done all the x-rays and said there's nothing wrong. So here I was in this rut of chronic pain and gut issues, like feeling absolute shit. And the doctor basically said to me, I think you've got depression. And I went, well, here we go. I said, I don't feel depressed. I feel like I'm in chronic pain and I can't shit. But, you know, your Movocol's not working, my friend. Nothing's working. Whatever you're giving me is not working. So basically, I went on the antidepressants. I said, don't show me that pamphlet because I don't want to create anything in my mind. I'll just take the tablet, and if it fixes this pain, then I'll kiss your feet. Anyway, I took it for 10 weeks. It was literally the worst 10 weeks of my life. I felt like Felt like I was just existing. I didn't feel like I was happy. I didn't feel like I was sad. I just felt like every day rolled into the next, and I was just like a machine, like a robot.
Did
And
the
I
pain
just
go
thought,
away?
no, pain didn't go away.
So no kissing of feet then. So that's good.
Hell no, there was none of that. He was a really lovely doctor. Like, I don't want to bag him because he really wanted to help me. He really honestly thought it was that, but it clearly wasn't. So then going off that antidepressant was literally the worst time of my life, because I felt like what I would think a drug addict would be like. I just was like, give me the pill. So he made me wean off them because they're quite serious drugs or whatever, made me wean off them. So every second day I wasn't allowed to have one. And on that day, I would be just like hunting them down, like, give me the pill, give me the pill. And I was like, who even are you, Anna? Like, you're so... My whole life I've been natural. I'd rather take something natural than pharmaceutical, whatever, you know. But if I've got to take it, I'm not stupid. Like, I'll take the pharmaceutical stuff. I'm not silly, but I would prefer a natural source if I can. Anyway, weaning off them, I was like, oh my God, what even is happening to me? So that was very interesting for me to go through that, because now I will never judge a drug addict again, honestly. Like, it really taught me that lesson. But in that time, I couldn't work. So I was down the rabbit hole on the internet, just searching for everything. I come up with some weird and wonderful things. Like, I was drinking DMSO. I was putting magnesium in the DMSO and drinking it and putting it all over my skin. I literally stunk like disgusting for about a week, and my whole family, like the whole house, I stunk the whole house out, and they were like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, on the internet it says it's going to make me better. So I feel like I've done every detox protocol. I've done everything imaginable. Like, I've done all the mistakes, and now I've learned what works. And this is why the clinic has come about, because I got myself into such a mess in like a Herc summer reaction. So really, really unwell so many times. But now I've learned the lesson. I'll never not understand this now, you know, because I also went to natural healers as well. I went to naturopaths and kinesiologists and osteopaths, and like I did the whole thing, and they all really wanted to help me. Like, I can't bag anyone. But what was happening was no one was cleaning out my elimination pathways. So my skin and my colon were completely overloaded with toxicity. And so I went and had a colonic. I don't know if you've heard of colonics, but I went and had a colonic and a sauna one day. And it was literally, after so many years of being in chronic pain and feeling like shit, it was absolutely life-changing. It didn't heal me, but it was like, it made me stop and go, what the F just happened here? Like, I feel so much better. You know, years down the track of detoxing and having the clinic now, I was like, detox pathway, make sure it's cleaned out, make sure you eliminate all of the toxicity out of there, get in the sauna, open up your pores, clean out your largest elimination organ. Then majority of us have an overgrowth of some sort of bacteria in our small intestine. Clean that out. Put a diversity of good bacteria back in, feed it, encourage it to set up a new colony, and everything comes back to homeostasis, which basically means balance. And then from there you can go, okay, this is where I'm at now. My sleep's better. I've got more energy. I can go to the gym again now. Like, all of these things systemically change, right? So I honestly believe that in the right environment, the body can heal itself. And I prove it in the clinic all the time. Not here saying we cure people or whatever, but we change people's lives every single day in clinic. It's the most rewarding job I've ever had in my life. So my daughter, she said to me, I'm never working in a shit clinic, Mum. But she then wanted to go and get qualified, because I said to her, what's changed, Isabella? She goes, Mum, we change people's lives. Like, you know what I mean? So I didn't think I'd, you know, grow up one day and want to be a colon hydrotherapist. But here I am, you know what I mean? And I love it. It's the most rewarding job in the world.
So just to go back a bit, for the listeners who might not have heard what a colonic is, how would you describe it?
So I would describe it as, you basically have a rectal tube. It's about the size of your little finger, and it gets inserted just past the sphincter muscle in the anus. Yep. You've got gravity-fed water that feeds in, so it's triple filtration, warm water, feeds into the colon, softens that stool, and you push and release it into a well, and then it goes out into the sewage system. So it's basically like having the best shit of your life, because you've got water coming in to soften any hard sort of fecal matter there. And it just really helps you to flush all of that out. So most people can store up to 7 kilos of waste in their large colon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yep.
There you go. If you get on the scale and you're like, why is this scale wrong? It's because you could have 7 kilos in your large, what was it? Large intestine?
Yeah, in your large intestine, your large bowel. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow, right?
There you go, ladies. Want to lose weight? You got to go and see Anna. You need to go and get cleaned out because that'll start it.
If weight loss is a thing, I mean, that's more, obviously colonics can help with weight loss as well, because systemically everything, if you go through a bowel reset, which means you clean out the whole organ, systemically everything else dumps its waste. So the liver, the kidneys, the lymphatic system will dump their waste as well. So then systemically you have a better system. It's a cleaner, well-oiled machine, if you can put it like that, if you can understand it like that. So if weight loss is an issue, that once the liver has detoxed and dumped its waste, it then has a better opportunity of going to clean up the cellulite. So it's not a miracle cure. You're not going to lose 7 kilos because you clean your bowel out. But what happens is, and what we notice with our clients that go through the bowel reset, is their whole lifestyle changes. They go, I don't want to put shit in my mouth. I don't want to eat rubbish anymore. I've pulled out my bike that I haven't used for 7 years. Like, it was dusty, but I've dusted off. I've started riding again, Anna. You know, one of our clients just run the marathon. And when you've seen him a couple of years ago when he came into clinic, you never would have looked at him to ever run a marathon in his life. This is what I mean. Systemically, everything changes, right? So, but if there's a thing, we've got a cryotherapy chamber, so we freeze the fat cells in there for 3 minutes. We've got lymphatic compression, which pushes out the lactic acid and oxygenates all those cells, tissues, and muscles. And obviously sauna is really amazing for weight loss because it's all about cardiovascular system and opening up those pores to let the toxicity out. So all of them sort of work with weight loss if weight loss is an issue.
So if any of the listeners are like, okay, this is it, I need to go and check this out, where is your clinic based?
We're in Wilston in Brisbane North Side. So if you know Royal Brisbane Women's Hospital, we're not far from there.
Beautiful.
We're a couple of minutes from there. Yeah.
Awesome. So if you're in Brisbane, go. And if you're not, it's worth the trip.
Exactly. We have people come from Toowoomba, Gold Coast. I have people come from Bundaberg. We've had people lady comes from Mount Isa all the time. So yeah, people come from Melbourne, Sydney, Beautiful. But so if they're not from Brisbane or surrounds, we can actually help them online. I've got my own online program called the Internal Shred Challenge. So I can, if they're rural or whatever, I can send them the products, and it comes with a booklet, and it tells them step by step exactly what they've got to do, what sort of exercises they can start doing, what to eat during the cleanse and stuff like that. So that's a really thorough cleanse and works nearly just as well. But obviously you don't have all of that water hydrating at a cellular level. That's the only difference. But in the pack, you've basically got a colonic at home if you don't want to do a colonic. And then you've got the stuff that cleans out the small intestine and the stuff that repopulates. So, yeah.
Beautiful. I'll make sure I grab that link from you and pop it down below so that everyone can stalk and check it out. So in your business journey, what would you say so far has been your biggest challenge?
Look, to be honest, I'd say recently staff.
Mm-hmm.
Staff has been a real issue. I've been interviewing for about maybe 7 weeks now. And just different reasons, they just haven't fit my values and the business values. And yeah, it's been quite hard to find staff, if I'm honest. But what I did do was sent an email out because I was on all the sites, went to all the job agencies, Seek and all of that sort of stuff, and nothing was really coming through. So I sent an email to my database, and I've got 15 resumes back. So it was amazing. It was amazing. So I've put on a lady yesterday. So thank God.
What a great idea. What an absolute great idea, because these people on your list are generally your warm clientele. They're your raving fans. And to go, hey, do you want to come and play with me and run the business that you love so much? And to get 15 resumes, that's an amazing tip for anyone struggling with staff. Reach out to your email list.
Yes, exactly. I just was thinking, who can I get that understands my business? Because for someone that doesn't understand the business, it's a little bit overwhelming when they first come in, because obviously the key requirements is being empathetic and compassionate and welcoming of the clients. That's the biggest thing. I can teach you everything else, but I can't teach you that, right? So that's why I thought, who can I get that knows my business and knows what we do in here and it's a vibe. They've been in here, they've seen it. And then I just went, boom, I just need to email the database. So yeah, so that's how that come about.
That's amazing. So what would you think, or what would you consider to be your biggest achievement so far?
All of our clients' lives that we've helped, honestly. Like, when I was so sick, it was such a dark place for me. And I'd thought about, ending it quite a few times because I was just like, I felt like there was no hope. And so the reason I set the clinic up was I wanted to give people hope that they could get better, they could get well, they could live their most amazing life. And so for me now, that's my mission. I want to create, now the next thing I'm creating is holistic hospitals. So I want to create a space where people with chronic illness can actually go to a hospital space and stay for, numerous amount of days or whatever it may be, and they can detox their body and the integrative doctors can help them. So you're not going to see all these specialists. You've got one doctor looking after you holistically, because I feel like, chemo and radiation maybe has its place, but I just don't understand why we're poisoning the body when the body's already in dis-ease. So, for chronic illness patients, I think our healthcare system has sort of missed the point. And I don't think they help because I've been there and, my sister's been through a cancer battle. My kids have had chronic illness and, we've had no luck in that space. So I guess this is why I've had all of these lessons for me to then come in and create this space. So I think that's my biggest achievement, is just changing people's lives very, very quickly for a very little amount of money.
And with this hospital project, is that with this foundation that you're running, which is
the
Humanity Foundation?
Correct. So we've got a meeting in a couple of weeks with some doctors from the States and some doctors from Melbourne and some doctors from Toowoomba. So we've got a planning day on the hospital and what modalities we're bringing in and where we're going to get the integrative doctors and all of that sort of stuff from. So, yeah, that's so exciting. I can't wait for that. So, yeah.
Fantastic. So is there any advice you wish you were given before you started your business or during your business where you wish someone had just sort of tapped you on the shoulder and gone, Anna, don't do that, or do this?
Probably not.
Yep.
Because I think intuitively we know, and intuitively we do the things we do so that we get the lesson. It's like that tap, tap, knock, knock, semi-trailer moment. I think what I've gotten good at is not getting to the semi-trailer moments, Yeah. I get the tap, tap. If I get a knock, knock, I'm like, girl, you need to listen. You need to sort this shit out, So I think I've gotten really good at that. And if I didn't have all of those semi-trailer moments, I wouldn't, in hindsight, it's a beautiful thing, right? But I guess now I'm sort of a little bit more aware, I think, when things like that are coming up. So I think everything we do is for the right reason at the right time. And if it wasn't right, then we learn the lesson and move on, So I wouldn't have changed anything about how, the clinic's flooded 6 times, we've had all sorts of things, but I wouldn't change not one thing, for the joy and the love and the appreciation I get from the clients, I wouldn't change a thing.
I think that's a really good advice in itself, is to trust yourself and listen to your intuition and start to look out for those, because no one likes a truck to the face. Like, it's not fun.
No.
If you can listen to, the taps and the knocks and go, okay, this is where I'm being told to go this way, and just to listen and follow your own path, because we each have our own path here.
Yeah.
So I love that.
I think also, I've just put on a coach. So I think also when you don't have the skill set, it's important to align with someone who has that skill set and can actually guide you. Obviously, she's going to guide me, but I'm still going to make the decisions, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's being an empowered woman. So, yep, this is your way. This is what you've been educated in, rah, rah, rah. And then she gives me that information. And then I come in and go, okay, what feels good for wellness at Wilston? What feels good for Anna, So, and then I'll make the decisions from there. But I think you can absolutely still have a coach, a life coach, a business coach, whatever it may be. But so I have got a coach at the moment. I've got a meeting with her at 2:30 today. So I'm really excited. It's our first meeting.
Oh, Awesome. I think that's important too that you touched on is everyone has their own plan that they've formulated. Everyone comes out with their own experience and goes, this worked for me. And it doesn't necessarily mean it will work for you. So really have that discernment and that curiosity in what you're being told and then how you're going to make those decisions to go forward. Because a business coach or someone, an advisor, a consultant may say, do it this way. But if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Or adjust it until it feels right. Take those gentle nudges, not that truck to the face.
Exactly.
So if you're happy to share, what would be your ultimate goal for yourself or the business? Like that big, hairy, scary goal?
Yeah. So the reason I've taken this coach on is because I feel like wellness at Wilston can actually grow into the holistic hospitals. So that's the big scary thing next. Do we franchise? Do we then bring investors in? Like, what does that look like? What does the framework of that look like? You know, what will my new role be? You know, all of those sorts of things. So this is what the meeting's all about today. So I've sent her a list of my priorities, of my personal goals, and, you know, where I think I want the business to go, because I really want to grow wellness at Wilston. I mean, I feel like everybody should have access to these modalities. Quite affordable. I try to keep the prices as affordable as I can. They're life-changing, and they, you know, everybody can use them. You know what I mean? There's not many people that can't use what we've got in clinic. And if they can, I can help them another way. You know what I mean? So I just feel like people need access to these modalities to level up their health. I mean, not everyone's chronically ill, but most people walk around feeling not great until they do something like this and they go, holy shit, like this is how you're supposed to feel? Like, oh my God, you know? So I have, you know, fitness people that come in and they're fit and they're great and healthy, but then they go through a bowel reset and they go, holy shit, like my workouts are now better. I eat better. Like my whole digestion's working better. You know what I mean? So people sometimes, we're so busy in this rat race of going to work and paying the mortgage and paying the car and kids' sports and this and that and that. Like we don't even realize, most of us don't even check in with how we're feeling until you get to Saturday morning. You're like, oh, I'm exhausted, you know? Yeah. So I think detoxing is so important at this time in our lives because I think there's so much environmental toxicity. Our foods are all being sprayed. Our water's got toxins in it. Like everywhere you look is toxicity, and the liver has to process all of that. So it's so important to detox, I believe, at this point in time.
I agree. I think it should be around. And I'd never thought about colonics before until having this discussion with you. And I'm thinking, you know what, that might just be the thing I need to help start, because I have been feeling a bit not so good lately. And I was like, this must be my nudge, my tap tap. So I don't want to knock. So I need to get this happening.
Yeah.
So if you could share with the listeners any tip, maybe like a small little sample so they come and stalk you, what would be a tip that you'd share?
My tip is, obviously everybody should be doing a parasite cleanse, because I say to all my clients, when was the last time you've done a parasite cleanse? Oh, never. What's that? So what happens is, oh yeah, I take probiotics. I get that every time with a new client. Oh yeah, I take probiotics. I say to them, so what my only tip would be, make sure your elimination pathway is clear. Make sure you've cleaned that out first before you start to work on the small intestine. When you think about digestion, you look at your food, you salivate those digestive enzymes into your mouth, your teeth then break that down, comes into the gut, more enzymes are released, turns that food into what's called chyme, which is like a baby food consistency. That then goes into the small intestine where you've got that colony of microbiome. Now, their job is to take all the nutrients out of our food, feed all the cells, tissues, and muscles, and then they move it up the ascending to the transverse and down the descending colon, right? So what we're talking about is the colony of bacteria in that small intestine. So what happens is that's what we want to clean out. Obviously, we're cleaning the organ out, which is like the waste pipe. But in there, the colony, that's the most important thing. So, you know, you've heard about gut-brain connection?
Yes.
So we want that to be a diversity of good and bad bacteria, right? Most of us have got an overgrowth of bad bacteria. We've had viruses, we haven't cleaned them out. We've had vaccines that have put different microbes in there. They've set up a new colony. Like, we've got all of this stuff, and then the liver's got toxicity, so it can't process, and everything's sort of backing up. So my advice is, don't try and take probiotics before you've actually cleaned the colon out and then done a parasitic SIBO, candida, or a heavy metal cleanse, to actually then move that bad bacteria through before you repopulate. So I know that probably sounds a little bit, so don't take the probiotics unless you've cleaned out the waste and then cleaned out the bad bacteria in the small intestine.
Okay, so step 1, ideally like a colonic to clean out
Correct.
that. Step 2, parasite cleanse or something to do this, the small intestine. And then step 3, putting in the probiotic. Now, is this your internal shred stuff?
Yes.
Like, if I'm like, I want to sign up, I want to do it now, this is where I go and I can get started on these 3 steps?
Correct.
Done, Anna. Just done.
No brainer, right?
No brainer. Like, if it's already all done for me, that's fantastic.
Or if you're in Brisbane, you can come and do the same protocol through the clinic, and you do it with the colonics. So obviously you're leveling up again, because 1, you're hydrating at a cellular level. 2, you're actually getting rid of that waste very quickly, because, you're doing a lot of water through the colon, and softening, releasing through that process. And also the liver has that opportunity, the liver, the kidneys, and the lymphatic system, generally on colonic 3 or 4, they dump their waste as well. So that systemically changes everything. So obviously I would recommend colonics and then the internal shred. But if you can't get into the clinic, obviously the internal shred's better than nothing.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I've learned so much today. So how do we stalk you? Like, where do we find you?
Well, look, we're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. You can go on my website. There's a lot of information on my website. There's a contact us page there. Our phone number's on there. Come into the clinic. We're in Wilston. Most of my clients become my friends. We're like one big family there. So, everyone's welcome. If you're a bit nervous, most people are nervous when they come in, and then when they're done, they're like, I can't believe I was worried about that. But come in and have a look. We've got, so there's 2 different types of colonics. There's an open system and a closed system. So ours is called the Angel of Water. It's an open system colonic where you administer the treatment yourself. Now, most people love that system because, I don't know about you, but I don't want someone watching me when I'm taking a shit, right? So you've got the privacy of your own room. You can eliminate and push out the toxins in the water whenever you want. If you need to pass wind, you can. If you need to urinate, you can. If you want to massage your belly, where the pockets of gas are, where you've got a bit of tightness in there, you can massage it yourself. Closed system therapist is in the room with you, and they put the water in and then they suck it out, basically, and they massage you. So if you've got gas pockets, it can be a little bit uncomfortable. Now, our Angel of Water devices, they're 55,000, so you're in state-of-the-art equipment. Our machines are TGA, FDA, Class 2A medical devices, so they're approved for cleaning out the colon. Completely safe. I'm there anyway. You've got a buzzer in the room. I make sure you're releasing comfortably before I leave you. If clients are that worried, I stay with them. But look, no one, as soon as they're releasing, they're like, yeah, you can go, like, get out. So people freak out, but it's really, if you just think about it, it's a little bit of gentle gravity-fed water feeding in, softening, and then you're releasing. Like, it's just like taking a poo at home, but we're putting water in to soften it, to make it easier to get it out. That's it. You're laying on a comfortable bed. You're covered up. You know what I mean? We've got to take that whole stress out of it so that people can actually come and get the benefits of it, because people are home freaking out about it when they should be in there cleaning themselves out and living their best lives,
And as you're saying, it has done so much to your clients. It's changed the way they've looked at health, the way they looked at the food they're consuming, the way they're doing things to their body. So if this is going to work, and like you've said, you've had it work, then why not give it a go instead of then, going to a pharmacy and popping more pills?
You know how many people come in on Movicol and Senna and all laxatives, and they go, they just don't work anymore, because what's effectively happening is they're getting a lazy bowel. So with the open system colonic, we're really working on re-strengthening that muscle. So the colon is a muscle, right? So with the water coming in, filling up, you get like a cramp, like a summer reaction cramp, like that diarrhea, nausea, cramping feeling. So it causes that organ to do peristalsis, which is that squeezing and contracting. So some people afterward go, oh my God, my belly, like it was a workout. It's absolutely a workout because it's a muscle. So those that have got a lazy bowel, it's good for them to come in and actually re-strengthen that muscle. So we've had a lot of success with people with lazy bowels who actually can go to the toilet on their own now without laxatives. Not saying we can cure anyone or fix anything or anything like that, not making any claims, but we've had a lot of success with clients and individuals who have changed their lifestyle, had more fiber in their diet or whatever it may be, and now they're going to the toilet on their own. We've had a lot of colonic babies. So a lot of people have been trying to have babies and no luck, having IVF, all this sort of stuff, and they sort of come in, there's no hope, that they said there's nothing more they can do. Come in cleansing, detoxing, and then, Anna, I can't come in my appointment today. I've peed on a stick, I'm pregnant. It's happened so many times in the clinic. So, I think also when you think about it from that perspective, the body's not going to create a new life if it's toxic.
No,
so
true. Yeah.
Clean the body out, get it in the right environment, and the body goes, boom, okay, I'm ready. Let's go,
Awesome. Well, so many benefits. So I just think go and give it a go, because what's the worst that could happen? You'll have a cleaner bowel.
Yeah, exactly. And your brain fog will lift, you'll have more mind clarity, people's skin clears up, their eyes get brighter, their skin tone gets brighter, like everything changes. Like it's amazing. And literally in 35 minutes, because I think what's happening, the biggest change comes from them being hydrated at a cellular level, because most of us are chronically dehydrated and we're mineral deficient. So fix that up and you're winning.
Beautiful. Well, everyone, I don't know. I think Anna's just sold it. I know I'm going to start booking in. I'm in the Blue Mountains though, so I'm going to have to plan an interstate visit to come and check it out. But for now, between then, I'm sure I can hook up with your internal shred and start working on that. Yeah. And so if you guys want to stalk Anna, go and check her out on TikTok, Instagram, Facey, website, and that's Wellness at Wilston. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. Look forward to welcoming the community in.